Okay, class, I'm going to try and introduce a new topic today. This should be for Thursday's work. And we've been working forever on inverses. And the reason why is because up till this point, we know the inverse of multiplication is division. We know the inverse of addition is subtraction. But we don't know how to inverse that exponent, the exponential. So that's what we're going to look at today. So you should have this set of notes as a handout. So we're going to start with, first off, why do we need logarithms? The reason we need them is because they undo, or they are the inverse of exponentials. So we're going to use them to solve exponential equations. Today, though, we're not even solving equations. We're just looking at how to undo exponentials. It is important to read some of these words right here. A logarithm is called log for short. It represents the inverse of an exponent. We'd read it this way: log base 2 of 32. So what we're thinking about is what can 2 be the base for that will give us 32 as our answer. Well, 2 to the power of 5 gives us 32. That's why this works. An equation in logarithmic form is equivalent to another equation in exponential form shown here. So basically this can be changed into this. Now remember back in elementary school when it was kind of hard still to figure out what division was and you had to practice. Well, that's kind of like this is. Logarithms are very different. You just have to recognize the pattern, and once you get that pattern, then you should be fine. So I'm going to give you a little hint for the pattern. What we do is we're going to do something called drop and swap. Once you remember that, logarithms are super easy. So you'll look at this. If we start with this base here, this gets dropped. See how it went log and it went low to the base 4? And then we swap the next two things. The 64 comes with the 4. And the 3 is now by itself. So we drop it and swap it. Let's look at A together. Let me slide this up where you can see it. Okay, we're going to drop and swap. And I personally like to put the log first. So I'm going to put the log, and then my base goes with the log. So if you look right here, the one that has the exponent is 5. So log base 5. And then I swap the next two. I swap the x and the y. So x used to be with 5, y will be with 5 now. We read that log base 5 of y, and it's going to equal the x. So the x is by itself now. If you know to go the other direction, you just think about the opposite of drop and swap. So 7 has been dropped. If we go backwards, it's going to come up and be our base. So opposite, start with 7. And we still swap. We bring it back up what's been dropped, but we still swap. So now y should be with 7, and x should be by itself since it started off with 7. Letter C, drop and swap. Write the word log. What are we going to drop? Think to yourself, what's the base here? The base is the one that has the exponent. So 8 has an exponent. Drop the base, 8, and swap x and y. Drop and swap. Same thing here. Log, what's our base? The one with the exponent, a. Swap the next two, c and k. I know I'm going really fast, so if you want to go back, check it again, go for it. Next one, what has been dropped? Oh, well, a is the one that's low and small, so it's going to come back up and be the base. And swap, so K and C swap. That's it. That's all we got to do. Last one. What's our base here? The one that's been dropped. Hopefully you said 1/2. So that's our base. And then swap K and N. So N's now going to be with 1/2. It'll be our exponent. And K by itself. All right. You have a whole front side of your worksheet to do that way. Super easy because all you got to do is drop and swap. The next thing I want to show you is if you have to put it on the calculator, how do you do that? I don't have notes for that, but I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. a log base in our calculator. I'm going to put the calculator here, and let's say I wanted to put log base anything. I'll do alpha window, and notice number 5 there says log base. If my log base was 4, and then I wanted to do 64, oh look, I get 3. You probably know that because we did that one on our worksheet already. But any base you need, put it in there. There's 2 exceptions. There are a couple special logarithms. If it just says log, no base, that means it's base 10. But you don't have to know that. Just use the key that says plain log. Don't use alpha window. If it says ln, that's a special base called the natural base. We'll talk about it more when I come back. But you just use the ln key on here. I'm going to sign off for now and come back with another video about how to make graphs.